Come on, little notification. Come on. Come on. There we go. Bing bong.
All right. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Sober Swole podcast. My name is Jake Howard.
And I go by DJ Swirl.
Chocolate and vanilla swirl.
What's up, everybody?
80 shoulder shimmy. As before we get started the show, as always, we'd like to give a shout out to Royalty Nutrition. That's royaltynutrition.com. And to help me out with that, as always, here he is. It's Warhorse.
Hey, it's Warhorse. Do you want your workouts to look like this? Or do you want your workouts to slay? When Warhorse picks his pre-workout, he wants it to slay. If you want second place, go with somebody else. If you want to be a champion, go with Royalty Nutrition.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Royalty Nutrition is a veteran-owned and operated supplement company that doesn't automatically go to use the cheapest ingredients while making supplements that help you along your fitness goals. Check them out and use the discount code 37HJKE to save you 15% on your entire order. My next shout out of the evening will be to Gorilla Gains. That's gorilla-gains with a Z.com. They are a fitness apparel company that you can wear comfortably in and out of the gym. They also make great equipment that helps keep you safe while you train. Check them out. Use the discount code JAKE15 to save you 15% on your entire order. Patreon.com/HateJoward. Check that out. It's where I upload workouts I've written for people throughout my years as a personal trainer and coach, and also do the solo podcast. I would love to have you on there to pay me for my knowledge. DJ Swirl, tell them about the Buy to Buy Empire.
Buy to buy at BUYTOBYE. Our offering includes, but is not limited to, on-demand delivery, moving, staging, TV mounting, and assembly. That means we help everyone from housewives shopping at Home Goods to property managers and real estate agents moving their clients' things from their current space to their new place. We also stage homes, helping new homeowners get settled and firms find that one piece to maximize the ROI on their current listings. Whether modest or monstrous, we mount TVs, and if you find you don't have the time, the towing, the muscle, or the patience to put together something you just bought, give us a ring, we'll come by and put that thing together for you. That is Buy to Buy at BUYTOBYE. This, what you see right now, is Buy to Buy Studios, where we do high quality, low stress, and remote controlled content production, content consulting, post-production work, and everything in between. So if you've got a current idea, if you've got a current show, if you've got something that you just want to elevate and take it to the next level, hit us up. We'll have a conversation. We'll figure out what that needs to be, how we can help you get there, and go from there. Again, high quality, low stress, remote controlled. That is Buy to Buy Studios. Jake, what are we talking about tonight?
I think someone had a big 40th birthday.
Chocolate and vanilla swirl.
I hit the wrong button. Yeah, man.
Thought you were wanting to jam.
No.
And then thought you were just wanting to jam, and then you had an old man moment. You admitted it was an old man moment instead of rolling through with it.
Nah, man. Nah, in my estimation, I've officially started the back nine of my life. So, yeah, fine. I have now caught up to the age with my wife.
Nice.
So, a couple of 40-year-olds, But yeah, man, turned 40 Sunday. Had a pretty chill day with the fam. Started off with my boy Danny Fresco. He was in town from Vegas and hit me up and was like, "You want to golf Sunday morning? 4 miles away from your house, for free." Yes, sir. So,
yeah, I do.
haven't got to play with my guy Danny. He was the person I played with the most when I was playing at my peak a few years ago, and good dude, always a good time, and Wasn't the best round, but it was definitely fun hanging out. Talk about turning 40, bro. So uh, I woke up on time, was good to go, and then something came up and got delayed. No big deal. Gave myself enough cushion. I was going to be there on time. And then I got to the golf course with 6 minutes to walk up to the tee box. And at this course, the tee box for one was right next to the parking lot. But it has been since updated, and now it's on the 10 is now number one, so it's on the opposite side. I was still gonna make it. However, I took my bag out of my car, and my putter and my 60-degree wedge were nowhere to be found. And why that is? That's because this guy took them out to practice. Didn't put
Mhm.
them back in. Since I live so close, I jetted back home and I made it to the first hole. I met them at the first green and putted out, but I didn't get to drive off the first tee box because my ass was late. I was gonna be on time. I have like a thing to where I do better on the back nine of the course simply because I didn't warm up. I didn't get there in time to stretch. I didn't get there in time to putt, get some practice shots in. So I always start slow. But yeah, I gave myself plenty of time to start nice and ease into it, warm up. And I also brought I had a like a swing golf swing trainer, and
Golf swing trainer.
it's just this little stick. It's called the Power Angle Pro. It's $100. They made it like 25 years ago, and it's still used today. So I was like, and it was paying dividends. It fell off the golf course. Don't know when, but the people who were behind us were not playing well, and they were not very polite. So they might have chucked it into the water. They may have just left it behind. It may have bounced into the water. Who knows? But it's gone. So I got to try and find another one because that thing was working. But yeah, I got to play some golf and then got to go hang out with the fam. Got an ice cream cake from Dairy Queen for the
Ooh,
first
those are
time since I
great.
for the first time since I was like 9.
Mhm.
So had way too much ice cream. But
Did you get some dilly bars too?
nah, we just did cake, man.
You've changed.
Milk
I
is
have
too
no idea
pricey
anymore.
nowadays to be doing all that. Um,
Mhm.
but on Saturday, I tried to buy a drum set, and I've been in this business for a while in terms of just buying and selling on secondhand. So I know how to set things up for success, and all this was going to according to plan. I got there. The guy got Ubered to his own storage unit. So it's like, okay. And allegedly he was moving to Texas, and had just split up with his wife. Um, I don't like to talk about how people look, but he reminded me of someone I used to work at Burger King with. And I never understood the impact meth had on teeth until I worked with this gentleman. And he was a great dude. He always had so much energy, but his teeth, it looked like a cave. It was tore up. And this guy had teeth like that. And I was like, okay, Spidey sense.
Mhm.
And there were a couple of them missing. Anyway, so we go
Yeah.
in and go into a storage unit. The attendant or whoever was working in the storage unit, he knew her by her first name, and she,
Excuse me.
bless you, I didn't get the vibe that she liked talking to him. Like, he made conversation with her the whole time in the elevator, and she didn't look at his face once. She was looking down and doing what she was doing the whole time. I was like, man. And so I don't know if that means he has a reputation, whatever. But Spidey sense. We go over to his unit, opens it up, looks beautiful. Didn't get to plug it in because it's a storage unit, but um, everything looked up to par. I brought my dolly from that I use for my business, and I loaded it up on that thing all one piece. Wheeled it out over to the elevator. It's on the second floor, so you had to wait. As we're waiting, I look at the drum module, which is the control unit, and it's not the same. And I stopped and I go, so were you just not going to say anything about the module being different? And he's like, oh, what do you mean? Oh, well, blah, 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 blah. And then he just immediately started rambling off all of these additional features that are unnecessary in his mind. So he's not even trying to talk about the problem. He's just talking about drumming in general. And
Ah,
for what I wanted to do, I needed the specific unit because it has an external USB input to where you can upload your own sounds and songs. The unit that he had did not have this part. And so I couldn't do what I wanted to do. So regardless of how he felt, regardless of how good the piece still was, I couldn't use it. And
right.
so I looked at him, I go, man. And I screenshot the advertisement, and so it has the wrong model number, which is the right one in my eyes. And so he did this all deceptively. And I look back through the pictures, and there's no picture of the drum module, just the name. Just there's like a screenshot from Guitar Center or Sweetwater or whatever, and so that was it. And that's why I was like, okay, let's go ahead and cancel that. When I do deals, both through the business and personally, I put down good faith payments. So I built the business around the idea that things go wrong and that there is a way to do it better in order to increase the efficiency of the sell itself for both buyer
Hmm.
and seller. So part of the way to do that is to show you're serious, to not be flaky, to not be late, all of the things that cause a good deal to go bad. I put down money to show that I'm serious, and I give them the rest when I show up in person. It
Right.
works really well 95% of the time, and most people say, "Oh, I wish more people did that." Awesome.
Right.
And so I'm in the storage unit helping him put the stuff up, and so I go, "Hey, I just sent a request back for the money that I put down as the hold." He said, "Cool, I'll get it right back to you." It's $40, symbolic for my birthday, whatever. $40 isn't enough to get upset about if something does happen, but it's enough to be taken for all parties to take it seriously. So he's in his unit cleaning up. Da, 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 da. I go to the elevator. I go down. I go back in. I uh, put my tools away. I close the trailer and I turn around and look, and I'm like, should I go back in there? I was like, nah, you don't have to, man. You've done this hundreds of times. You don't need to do this. So, and if it's for someone else, I stay there. I don't leave until the transaction shows up and then the party who's on the other end sends me a confirmation, just so that everybody's on the same page. It's not that big of a deal. And so when people push back or there's an issue, spidey sense. So I go outside. I'm like, nah. So instead of driving home because I'm all the way up on the 17th and Northern Avenue, I go to the parking lot across the street, which is shaded. I had a big water. I'm just chilling. Like 10 minutes goes by and no alert, no notification, no nothing. So I check my app, no payment received. I checked the app on Messenger, no no news. And so I messaged him again and I was like, hey boss, whenever you can get that back to me. And then I get this, and you see the bubbles, and I'm like, okay, he's responding, and they don't go away. It's like, so he's there, and then I get this long response about how he is upset that I wasted his time, and that again listing all of these features on this unit, he could have given me this, he would have showed me where I could get this, and blah 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 blah, all these other things that don't matter. He's just listing them off. He's upset because I'm undervaluing his thing because it's not what it's supposed to be. That's it.
Right.
And so I respond and I'm like, I understand, but I can't do what I need to do. And he's like, it's exactly the same, blah, 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 blah. And so I literally got on the internet. I'm like, across the street in the shade, I'm cool. Screenshot the one unit, screenshot the other unit. They're not the same, man. Look, the port is literally not there. I can't, I'm not fabricating any of this. And so then he responds again, sort of lengthy. And then I had gone out to the trailer to clean something out, to clean while I was waiting. And then, sure enough, I go to respond, could not send.
Ooh.
Okay. And so then I question mark, send, failed to send. One more for good measure. Failed to send. I look at my phone. I have 1 bar. Okay, I've been sitting here for a half hour at least. Let me see what the deal is. I go over to an old thread, someone who I don't care if they respond. Question mark. Bing. And so now my brain switches from being inconvenienced and my time being thrown away to now it's a personal thing and I have to work extra hard just to get my own money back. So I'm like, all right. So I get out of the car, walk back into the office, and I can't remember what her name was, but the attendant who seemed to not care her about the seller. I go in and she had said in the elevator she had mentioned that she was having a tough day because she worked late last night. She was already there at the morning and she had to work that night as well. So she was in the middle of a bender. And so I we kind of had I heard that, and so when I go back inside, I'm like, hey, I need to go and speak to what's his face, and she goes, don't worry, and she smiled real big, and she said, I'll have the door open for you when you get over there. So she was watching me, and she's paying attention to what's going on, and so I'll go out the door, and before I leave, I stop, and I go, has your day gotten any better? And she smiles real big, and she said it is. Thanks for asking. And so I understand that I'm not projecting how I feel toward this other people. And so I'm like, okay, cool, I'm level headed. Let's just go and just get this handled. And so I go in, I get in the elevator, and I go to start my phone. And I was like, I don't want to have my phone like pointing at him, but I want to record it. And so I put my voice note in my pocket, and I was like, I don't think anything's going to happen, but just in case it does, boop, hit record. I go up there, and if you follow me online anywhere, I showed you the first 52 seconds of the conversation. And um, I touched something because I had my hands in my pockets. I didn't want my hands to be up and moving around because I don't want to come because I'm already bigger than this guy. I'm in better shape. I will fuck this dude up if worse comes to worse. So I have my
Of
hands in my
course.
pockets to try and keep myself cool. And I touched the phone, and apparently that stopped the recording. And so I didn't get the rest of it. But what happened was after that, so what happened in the conversation is I show up and I'm just like, hey, boss, can I get that transfer? And he's like, and the first thing out of this dude's mouth is not an apology. It's not. It's not just like sorry this about the situation. Not even an apology to me, but just like sorry that it fell through. You know, he said, I think we should split it. That has not happened in a very long time.
Dude.
On the back end of them being the reason why the deal didn't go through. Like if I did something, if they drove to me, if the weather was bad, like I can make that work. I drove
Hmm.
45 minutes to this dude, waited. He got Ubered there and he had the Uber stop at a fast food restaurant and he was eating tacos while we were chatting. So it was just sloppy, bro. And so So I'm just there trying to get my money back. And he says we should split it. And the first thing on my mouth was, you do not negotiate a down payment, the return of a down payment. Like, you're out of your mind. And so he immediately says, okay, I'll get you your money back. But I wasn't just there to get my money now. You went out of your way to make it difficult for me to get this money. I'm going to get that apology. And so,
Hmm.
or we're gonna have this conversation. Like he's not gonna get deduct this like conversation because he blocked me online. And so I said, so I was like, let's take care of this now. He's like, yeah, let's take care of this now. I'll send you your money. And I said, it's really weird that you're being like this, but you blocked me, so I couldn't talk back to you. And he said, well, you kind of pissed me off. And that's the last part of the recording you hear. And I'm just like, and so he's just running his mouth, blah blah blah. I'm gonna get you. So he's like fumbling over his phone. And I'm like, you got some fucking nerve, dog. I was like, you wish me happy birthday. Like, the situation. Like, we've been very transparent. We had a great conversation. Like, you're this salty about it? And so he just kept going and da da da. And so finally I was just like, you know what? I was like, here's my phone. I was like, if you need to scan my thing again, I don't know why you would need to, but just get on Cash App and send that back to me right now. And so I backed up. I put my hands behind my back and I was just like, I'll just wait until I hear a ding, bro. I was like, we ain't gotta say shit to no, we ain't gotta say anything else to each other. Like, let's just make it happen. And so he's like, now you're trespassing. And I go, I said, and I said, expound.
That's such a good word.
I love that word. I said, expound. And he said, what? I said, please make that make sense. And so he's like, you're threatening me. I said, my guy, you're trying to not give me my money back. You're standing in a spot that you are renting inside of a building that you also don't own. So please don't talk to me about trespassing. And I was allowed in here because the attendant saw me dealing with you. I was like, so please, let's not make this any worse, man. Just give me my money so we can both go about our lives. Like, why are you making this worse? And so he just like, oh, and so finally, bing, it goes off on his end. And so he goes, there's your money. Da, 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 da. I said, oh, you're going to pretend like you can't rescind that? And he just looked at me. And so I just backed up again, put my hands against the wall. I just waited. And he's all like mumbling. I was like, bro, I was like, just let it be. Let it be. Just give me let this go through. We'll clear. You go to Texas and we go our own, and life goes on. Got the ding. Pieced him out. That was it. So I was just like, 2 hours out of my day. I'm on gas is $5 a gallon again. So
Yeah.
an hour and a half each way. Man, like I don't know. But again, it's validation for my business model. Because who wants to fucking deal with that bullshit?
No, man. But you know what? That's honestly the second crazy $40 story I've heard this week. There's one that tops it, and it was over $40, and it happened in Houston, Texas. A gentleman is currently, well, he's been arrested, but there's a scam that goes on around Houston parking lots where people stand outside like places to park and pretend they're attendants and charge you money to park.
Yep.
So this dude was on a date and then charged this cat $40 to park his car. And, of course he paid it, and then, not trying to act like a chump in front of his date or whatever. And then he goes inside and I guess asked somebody about the parking attendant, and they said, we don't have one. So we went outside and he shot this man and took his $40 back, and then went back inside and finished his date.
We both won.
$40 is $40, bro.
There's more than one way to skin a cat, right? Isn't that what they say? Yeah.
Well, see, the thing is, and then so I was reading the comments on it. It's like, and it's like, tell me he ran his pockets, and it was like, no, he only took his $40 back.
No doubt. Yeah.
No, he wanted his money back. Obviously, there was a confrontation about getting his money back, and he said, no, sir.
So as a responsible gun owner, if you're in either of those circumstances, does your weapon become a part of that?
No.
Only if you feel threatened.
No, if I go back and I confront someone about $40, and all of a sudden they get extremely violent, that would cause harm to my person.
Yeah.
And even then, I probably wouldn't pull. It'd have to be like, I'm gonna die. But
so dire straits. You're not doing that.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the whole point. I'm probably not up to speed as much as I should be anymore, but I am physically capable of defending myself. I know more than the average Joe. Sup, Matt? I'm not drawing down on somebody unless I need to. Period.
Oh. Yeah, you. Yes.
Yeah, me.
But I just a very brief thought in my mind of how would I react in that situation is if I had a piece on me and old boy was getting rowdy, and if it's, like how police, whenever they approach you and they got their hand back, but it's sitting back there, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the most that I would do, but I would definitely use it. I would definitely use that just to
that
be
stance.
It's ready to go. Because it's there. Why? Because the only reason why I have it there is in case something pops off. Just pop it off. So yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
glad I didn't have
definitely
a
a
button on me confronting that
there's
dude.
definitely a there's definitely a posture to take.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I don't, I don't know the whole story. I do know a man was shot over $40. That's all I know.
sure. No,
I
and
mean,
I'm not trying to test
all the
things.
facts of the case have not been released yet.
Yeah. Just throwing allegedly in there, and everything usually works out.
Yeah, allegedly. Well, that's how Pat McAfee avoided
hmm
getting sued by was getting that lawsuit thrown out
Yep.
from by Brett Favre. I'm toe stomping. Nothing like the pain of an unwanted toe jamming.
So true. So true.
Oh man. Oh. I'd like to read you a hypothetical story.
Oh, let's hear it. Let me. Do I have? I have chimes, right? For sure, have a harp.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's dive into story time right now.
So, this is all hypothetical.
Allegedly.
It was a what if I presented it to my siblings today. Okay. All right. So let's say dad was a big time cop, like nationally recognized for breaking up sex trafficking rings and arresting pieces of shit like that. Is everyone following? Now, all of this siblings in this scenario are immense fuck ups, constantly getting arrested for drug and alcohol related crimes. Is everyone still following my story? Okay, now, let's say Brother Jordan got arrested for being a drunk idiot with his children, with him in the vehicle. This not being his first DUI, but the first time openly endangering his children. How would we thank our Father for all those years of hard work and building a reputation after Jordan took a plea deal and only got a misdemeanor for 3 felonies he was initially charged with? Hypothetically speaking.
Only in America.
And I got, I got one response that said, Christ. My autistic brother said, why in the fuck am I the DUI example? And then he dialed it back and he said, also Christ on the cross. That is profoundly ridiculous, that whole situation.
Yeah. Well, you shared those details essentially with me earlier, and
yeah.
It connected dots with my own experience, and a recent article I believe I posted in my stories yesterday, today, where a woman in New York, I believe, she last year, a couple of years ago, she got caught up with a BLM protest, um, to where she couldn't get where she needed to go in her car. Long story short, she ran some people over, and went to court for it. She just like, I'm not sure what, I think she was facing 7 years. I think that's what the up to was. She walked out of the courtroom with 5 hours of community service.
Woo!
And there are people that were involved in the incident that their bodies are not the same, and so their life is altered. And 5 hours, I was and I ran through a stoplight several years ago, on my motorcycle going back to work after lunch break, and got snapped. Wound up getting a ticket. I was like, okay, I don't have a record, first offense, so I'll just pay the fine. It's a stoplight ticket. No harm, no foul, right? Wrong. First offense, stoplight, traffic signal, camera flash. You've got to do the online course. And if you don't do the online course along with the payment, you've got to go to defensive driving school. And so I had to sit in a Best Western conference room for 8 hours with mofos who had manslaughter charges, extreme DUIs. Like these people are repeat offenders and they should not be on the road. I was in the same class with them listening to this dude talk for 8 hours. And this lady maimed folks and she got 5 hours. Yikes, man. So yeah, the imbalance that you speak of, hypothetically, uh doesn't sound surprising, bro. It sounds like a Hulu movie.
I'm living in America.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Living in America.
That's quite a
I
song.
can't ever listen to that. I can't listen to that song
Why not?
because it's right before Apollo died.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Tell me how you really feel.
I was sad. But it's okay. Rocky went to Russia and beat up the big Serbian.
Right.
If I can change, then you can change. We can all change.
So, we had a conversation with a special guest earlier before this recording, with Miss Karina Powers, and
Yes.
she's a friend of yours, and
Mhm.
she's in the fitness world, has been for some time. Got started late and is still kicking ass, and had a great conversation with her, and that will be part of the new segment of this show, the For the Love of Fit, which is the departure from the previous version that Jake brought over. We revamped it a little bit, but it's just it's another excuse to give people their roses in real time. And I, as someone who had not spoken to or met Karina beforehand, she wasn't shy.
No.
So
No,
we
she
had
laid it all out there.
a great conversation, and that will be we will put that together, and we will put that out for you next week, the next episode, and so look forward to that. Again, Karina Powers, how do you feel? First time.
It was real easy because we pretty much got to ask one question, and she was like, "Let me tell you about my life."
Boom.
She just laid it out there. That was cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, because that's what the segment's for.
Yes.
It's the let's highlight you,
Mhm.
and for someone that maybe not necessarily wants to do a whole episode, but like, let's talk about this one thing that you are so passionate about
Yep.
specifically, and just lay it out there. And she killed it.
Yeah.
I've known her. See, I haven't. Well, shoot, I haven't seen Karina in like 7 years. But no, she was always someone that came in, and like she was always like friendly, like nice, hello, hi, hi. But then she'd put on her headphones and she would just get to work. And she'd go in and just slaughter herself, and then be like, okay, later, like. And I have an appreciation for people, especially in the bodybuilding industry, and that's how they roll. Because a lot of course, with social media and a lot of marketing yourself is you have to make your posts and do your things.
Yeah, man.
I mean, but she would go and like whip her own ass and then be like, "I'll take my picture now."
Yeah.
So if you go and listen to For the Love of Fit, we did a coaches roundtable, and I touched on it there, and it was my whole thing, especially after I got into my, especially after I got in my groove. I was going back to say especially.
Hey yo.
But no, especially after I got in my groove. The only time you ever saw me recording or taking pictures was one, it was me hitting a PR, doing something real heavy for reps that I knew was going to be my last set.
Yep.
I didn't like posing for, like, I would, like, there comes a point in time where I'd pose in between sets, but that was just for like stage conditioning stuff, for holding poses. But like if I was hitting poses and stuff, it was like after I was done,
Right.
because like the work had to come first, and then you could mess around and choke out the men's physique competitor or whatever.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mark Field, I miss you, buddy. But
Yeah, there's so many distractions, so many reasons to not be able to go into a public space like that, do work and bounce. Like
Hmm.
networking, whether that's just conversating, conversing with people that are there, or the wait times in between machines and all that. And I mean, getting a shot of yourself without people walking through or gawking or whatever. Like, there's all kind of stuff that could throw you out of your throw you can throw you out of being efficient in the gym. So,
Hmm. Well, so I'll tell you, tonight I went out and I worked. I did a back day, and I had the best way I can describe it is the fear, and I haven't had it in a long time. there's a there's a there's a fear of I know this is too heavy. I'm going to get hurt,
yep,
and then there's a I'm tired. I don't want to do this because I'm tired.
yeah,
Fear, and I had that for like the first time in forever, where I had to be like shut up and fucking lift it,
nice.
and that was amazing.
That
I had
voice is still
like
there.
yeah,
Yep.
and I was like, man, where have you been? I haven't heard you in years.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've always stayed pretty. I've stayed pretty strong, not as strong as I used to be, but pretty strong. But that drive to like murder myself hasn't been there in a minute, and I
Yep.
kicked the shit out of myself tonight, and that was
Nice.
beautiful. I'm just trying to be freaking huge.
Right.
Craig Goliath big. I still haven't watched that dang documentary.
You gotta watch it, man. Some good stuff. Good stuff.
He's a character.
He sells it. He sells his character well.
Hey, you do what you gotta do to make money in this world. Life's weird.
Oh,
What's it?
so dip update. How are we doing?
Ah, enjoying a nice Copenhagen mint long cut right now
As we speak. Yeah.
as we speak. Yeah.
So you said before we got on here that you have chosen, it's a choice. You've chosen
Mhm.
to just let it be something that you do. So
I'm
on
gonna
what?
go. I'm gonna drop that back and say for now.
Oh, no, things can always change. It's up to you.
Yeah,
So,
because with everything that we have going on still, I'm I am openly admitting to using this crutch. All the chaos in this house with
you need something.
nonsense that is out of my hands.
It's a coping mechanism.
Yep,
Do you
that's it.
do you feel like things settle down in the house that it'll subside as well? Your urge?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it negatively affect you training or exercising?
Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm. No, man. No, I've lived like no,
All right.
no. I can do a whole death fest with a fat wad in my mouth.
But in terms
I
of
have a.
your sobriety,
Mhm.
there's dip, and then there's a
Man,
plethora of choices. So,
I have been on the verge of just saying fuck it a couple times this young month.
yeah.
It's just the 3rd of May, and I'm like, phew.
Yeah.
If I just black out, I'll time travel to maybe this will be done. And then, oh yeah,
Oh yeah, the opposite.
yeah.
It will make the place you should have been already impossible.
Wake up to more problems. That sounds
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah. Not so great.
No, but
But you've had a lot. You have a lot going on. You have
yes,
ellipses going on. Like it's not finished. So
Yeah, there's
You,
things that I can't talk about on the show, or I'm open about everything.
yeah, yeah, no, and that's I, there's got to. I mean, just the way that you don't participate on your private page anymore is a reflection of
Mhm.
that, right?
Yep.
Like you don't have time to participate in fantasy realm when reality is not where you want it to be.
It's amazing. So, I I got on there and I was just like, I had just lists of people that didn't, obviously read my post, my last post. Hey man, how are you? Where you been?
Oh,
Well,
isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy how you develop an expectation that people should have seen something you did?
well,
I
like,
hate that. I hate that I feel like that.
well, and then we've ever since my my birds aren't real. Follow the Sober Swole Pod, and then the story of I don't know how active I want to be on here.
Right.
Follow the page. I mean, we got like 5 followers. So I mean, we're doing good. Just hey, yo, Flex Chef, who do you think would be a good guest for our For the Love of Fit segment? Like who's an old dog in their sport that does it for the love of the game that deserves some love?
Well, why don't you do that now? Why don't you name drop right now?
Me?
Not like you yourself. Who do you think should be on here?
I wouldn't. You know what? I wouldn't mind hitting up my boy David Figueroa. He's actually the guy that taught me how to grow my back. He's been in and around bodybuilding and lifting forever, and he's also he's also he's a former cop. He's a army veteran. I just love that dude. I think I'll hit David up. Maybe I'll make Shalito's bitch ass come on the show and talk about his supplement company or
See, I wasn't gonna make a big deal about it, but when I saw it in the shot, I was like, "Oh, that's pretty clean still." But
something.
yeah, it hasn't been the same for a while.
Yeah. When'd you pick up that one?
I've had this shirt for quite some time. All about building 40 backs. uh, no, but I mean, I have to think specifically fitness wise because I know several people who are in the fitness game, but um, building 40-year-old backs. Okay, there it is. And but my guy Jason Strahan, I did an interview with him for Beats That Bind Us that is still on ice. I haven't even chopped it up, but I have all the markers and stuff for the conversation we had. Um, awesome dude, IFBB Pro. Is that right? IFBB? Am
Mm-hmm.
I saying that correctly? Very good. Just make sure. But uh, he shows love. Like he is in incredible shape. He is he is an enigma in terms of personality. Like this dude, he has an aura around him every time he's in public. Every time I see that dude, like I've never like I don't know what a bad day looks like for him because he's always positive, and so he radiates that with the people that are around him in his network. And so he's someone who I'm still following from afar. I'm in contact with, but our lives have kind of taken different paths. So it's like every time I see him doing something, I'm like, rooting just because. So, um, but he's in several endeavors. I know he's got a new videographer working with him. I'm following him now online just because it allows me to see what the work they're doing together. And yeah, so I think he's somebody who I would love to have on just to speak in terms of um, swollenness. It would be a great
Absolutely.
conversation to have too.
Doesn't just have to be me, man.
No, I was just saying off top. Who do you have off top that you know that's in the fitness world that you would like to have a conversation to show them love and ask them about their love, their what is it, for the love of fit, how that
Mhm.
how that plays into their everything, because everybody's got their story. So
It's true. Like I've been meaning to get Dr. Butler's wife on the show, Melissa, and she runs that yoga studio up there. I think that'd be a good one.
yeah.
Then we'd have to like keep her on the show for the rest of the interview because she's dope as shit too. So
What if we did like a remote interview to where we're doing yoga while we're interviewing her?
I bet we could probably set that up.
I know, I just had that visual popping in my head. I'm like, that doesn't sound far fetched.
I mean, we could probably, yeah, we could probably. I'd probably talk to her about it. We can do it in the studio.
Yeah, because it's pre-recorded.
Yeah,
We could take our time and get the shots right. So anyway, but yeah, I think Flex Chef should be someone we bring back specifically for that, because I see his feed. I see him, he spends time in front of the camera. He
yes, he
is
does.
he is proud of the effort he puts in at his current age. So I want to delve into what drives him to keep that up, because I know a lot of people in my circle and not in my circle who use that as an opportunity to do the opposite. So, as always, shout out to Flex coming through, showing love. But yeah, have him come back on and bless us like he did the last time. Have a great conversation and see what it is that drives him to continue to be fit and what that love is. What language that is. I need to get back into that. I want to include love languages on here.
Well,
What language does that love? Do you like that? What love language do you like
I like that.
in terms of your love for fitness? What language is it in? You know what I mean? Like music is a gigantic part of my life, and so in terms of my fitness, music plays a gigantic role. So in terms of like words of affirmation or quality time, those are two things that I spend a lot of time with music, and there are certain songs that I will listen to for words of affirmation, not directly toward me specifically, but that I can take something from that will either get me popped, that'll get me going, or calm me down. So music is one of the love languages that keeps me fit or keeps me going
I,
anyway.
I like it. I like the attaboying myself.
How do you attaboy yourself? Like what manner are you doing that? Like in
When
your
I'm in
words?
shape, I'm like, there you go, fat boy, you did it.
Right. Is there a mirror where you're saying that to?
Yeah.
Because I feel like mirrors are a giant part of gyms. So that's a what is it? Because it's not
One
physical
of
touch. It's not receiving gifts. Quality time, yes. Acts of service. I mean, if someone spots you,
one of the best feelings in the world is surprising yourself.
okay,
Whether that's like you did a lift at a weight that you couldn't touch before, or you've never touched before,
gotcha.
or it's you wake up to take a piss in the middle of the night and you walk past the mirror and you go, hang on,
Yep.
nice,
Yep.
like, and that's always been that's been one of my favorite parts of the ride. Like I hit a rear lat spread today just because, and I went and I was like, well, arms are looking small, legs are looking a little small, but he's still wide. That back's still wide.
Yep.
So those little things that are just like, all right, well, you can improve on that, but look here.
So you you like surprising yourself. I've lost the value in surprise, in being surprised, um, because I don't know, I posted something on Truth and Ladders a while ago, and it was something to the effect of you can never be surprised by something you had faith in. You always had faith in. So if I always have faith in myself and I'm always determined, then I should be able to do it. And like we
I
talked
like
with,
that.
and like how we talked with Karina earlier, it was like if you don't, you got to go. You got to go. You just got to do it. You have to want to. And so
Hmm.
it's the want. Um, that's really for me, man, because there are definitely times where I do not want to. I do not want. And then there's other times where I realize that need that one is actually a need, and so I, like Karina was talking about, flip that switch and you go.
Well, there was a tweet I I retweet the other day.
Hmm.
It's, bodybuilding is very extreme. Living a quote bodybuilding lifestyle unquote is very different than those who choose to compete. Anytime someone asks me if they should compete, I say nope. Because if you have to ask, you're not ready. You got to be obsessed with the idea of
There you go. Yeah.
it. And I was like, that's
Yep.
1,000,000,000% it.
Yeah.
It's
Like
like,
and it's funny because like talking about music and how it affects. Like I started listening back to J. Cole's um off season album, and so it's like listen to the song "Pride is a Devil," and it's like now he has to question when people say they're proud of him, because it's like, oh, are they just projecting their pride, or is it actually something worth being proud? Is it even something worth being proud of in his own eyes? You know what I mean? So it's like,
mhm.
yeah, just listening to how, and that's the thing with music. Like there are ways that I hear things now based off of my mood, based off of my mental headspace, like based off of all these things. I hear lyrics differently when I listen to the same song that I listen to over and over and over and over again. So, but just going back to the album, and there's some bangers on that album, and but yeah, just like the whenever you hear somebody, whenever someone is pleasantly surprised at something I do, I frown. Whenever someone is surprised by something I do good, I frown because they didn't think I was capable of that prior. If they were, they would not be surprised. As soon as I crossed that threshold, bro, I couldn't do it. I can't do it anymore. I can't look back. It's like when you put up those quotes by Marcus Aurelius. It's like as soon as you hear those things, it's like it creates a precedent. It's a barometer that you move, that you compare everything to from that point forward. So yeah, when my mom is surprised by something, I'm like,
Mhm.
you know who is rarely surprised, and you know who gives me my flowers all of the time is my dad. I had a 3.5 hour conversation with my dad. What is today? Wednesday on Monday,
Yep.
and it was not planned. Like we have been in our own worlds lately, so we've been going sporadic with our talking. We haven't recorded. We haven't been talking about doing beats that binds us for a while, and that's fine. And then we were playing text tag back and forth, and then he texted me and was like, "Can you talk? Do you have time to talk?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And so I was like doing chores and stuff while we were talking. 3.5 hours later, dog. And he was like, "Man, you and there's this, he we record every time that we talk, and so he has like this setup to where it transcribes our conversation, and so he's sending me that to me, and I'm like, please send it because he's like, whenever he says stuff like that, I was like, I want to hear what I said prior to that. I need to
Mhm.
know what I said because 9 times out of 10 it's off top, so I don't even know what I'm saying in the moment. I just generate a thought and then it comes out good, and I'm like, oh wait, what did I say?
Mhm.
Let's put that down. Let's jot that down. Let's make um, repurpose that shit. But yeah, man, my dad. I think that's why I like doing it as much as I do is because he has always been very forthcoming, and critical. If I misstep, he's critical in a caring way. So my mom will smile even though she's not pleased with what's going on. You know what I mean? Like she has that kind of personality. So um, it is what it is. So no surprises. Don't get pleasantly surprised. Just thumbs up. Just be like, that's all. That's you. So like when you're talking about personal records or achievements or whatever, I'm a terrible free throw shooter. Love playing basketball. I probably have a higher percentage from 3 point than I do free throw. I and I don't say that like jokingly. Like I'm dead ass serious. Like I probably shoot 35% from behind from 3 point. I probably shoot 40%. It's so terrible. It's so terrible. I'm so streaky. I'll miss like 14 in a row and then bang out 8. And I'm like, why? It doesn't make any fucking sense. So, but yeah. So, I talk shit to myself, and so like whenever I do something, like I'm in the moment and I hit a shot that I didn't expect to hit and it goes in, I'm just like, and so my gut reaction now is not to be surprised. It's to repeat. It's to re. It's to recall those steps to do it again. Because if I can do that, then I can do it more frequently. And if I can do that more frequently, then I'm a beast. If I can't, then I'm not. Straight up. I can't be surprised at what I can do. And I'm not surprised when I try something new and I'm good at it because I just think that I'm not good at anything that I haven't tried. And if I'm not, I'm not. Cool. There's some things that I'm just not good at, and that's fine. But I'm good at a lot of things. So, because I approach things with the confidence that I won't surprise myself, with the confidence that I'll be like, yep, more the same. That's it. And so now that I'm 40, I'm gonna look like the older guy who has it, that still has it. I realized through social media, I was like, oh, my peak in social media is gonna be on the back end. It's going to, because there's so many times where I've said stuff that I saw coming, and then when it happened, nobody remembered me talking about it. So like on the back end of the surprise, I just don't say anything anymore. I'm just like, nope. I'll just keep track of it, and then if it turns out to be that way, cool. That pattern is pretty successful. And so, like I was talking to my dad earlier, or I texted my dad because we're both big fans of Jamie Foxx, and he had a medical complication several weeks ago, and
I think he was really had a stroke.
yeah, and he's yet to make a public appearance or show his face since then. And so my dad, being in the medical field as long as he has, and us also seriously talking about being on Beat Shazam at some point, as a dad son DJ duo with Jamie Foxx. Like we've literally had conversations about how dope that would be, and hypothetically played out situations that never will happen. But yeah, man, I only hope good things for him. But I was telling him how I felt concerned at the amount of time that has gone by without seeing him, because he's such a presence.
Mm-hmm.
And I see his MGM Grand, bet MGM Grand ad every day. Like you can't not see that dude. And you know that he had a situation, but I just know with strokes they vary, and so
Mm-hmm.
it could be very severe to where it'll alter your face, or there's a lot of different things that can happen. And so I asked him about it, and he goes, I hadn't really known any of the details or anything about it, so I just kind of sent him a link to let him look at it. TMZ today, Jamie Foxx says thank you everybody for the well wishes. I was like, not trying to say I called it, but there's no picture, there's no video, so
Mm-hmm.
they're still being tight-lipped about it. So
Well,
we're
if
gonna
he
do
was in
what you about.
Pennsylvania, he could have become a senator. So,
Oof, you're referencing somebody. I don't know the name though.
John Fetterman, the
Okay.
lurch-looking motherfucker
Oh,
that
got you,
beat
got you,
Dr.
got you,
Oz.
got you. So he had a stroke, and then he is partially paralyzed in his face, or
No, he had a stroke and then became a senator. That's like
what did the stroke have to do with him becoming a senator?
I'm saying. It's just if Jamie Foxx was running for Senate, he would have won. That's it.
Got you, got
Yeah.
you, got you, got you. Well, he was filming a movie with Cameron Diaz, and it was on a tight schedule, and he was under. And so they brought in two body doubles and then just shot the rest of the movie without him.
That's nuts.
Beat
That's so
Shazam
nuts.
is supposed to film during the summer, and or it's supposed to air during the summer, and so he's out, and so Nick Cannon and Kelly Clarkson are going to step in for he and his daughter's role on the show. So he's not going to be on the show this year. So like, he's the face of that show. He's the face of Bet MGM Grand. He's Jamie Foxx. Like he's multi-talented. So it's like
Hmm.
time is undefeated, but man,
It's nuts.
yeah. Again, I'm not a thoughts and prayers person, but hoping for the best. Hope that. And I told my dad, I was like, this feels like it might be one of those times where we refer to him before. You know what I mean? Like this
Hmm.
feels like this might be that moment in his life, and that sucks if that's the case. I hope it's not, but that's what it feels like.
Yeah. No, there's so much weirdness going on in this world, man. Like I've just been, I've been doing my best to just focus on the chaos at my house.
Yeah, I saw something pop up, article talking about how ADHD. There's a I don't know what they call it. It's not an outbreak. It's not like a virus or anything, but like the amount of cases is overwhelming in that our healthcare system isn't prepared for it. So
I think I still think there's a lot of misdiagnosis.
why do you think that's the case?
I think a lot with the school lockdowns and things, it's just kids because they've missed so much that they're acting out, and because while they're at home learning, now they're used to, instead of sitting in class and being in a regular classroom environment, they're used to having their TV on over here, and they're used to having like their freaking Nintendo Switch in their hand while their teacher's giving a class, or
Yep.
you know. So I think it'd be like ADHD like, but I don't think it's true ADHD. I think a lot of the ADHD you'll see now is more of a learned behavior rather than something that's uncontrollable.
Why is that uncontrollable though?
Mine is uncontrollable unless there's a medic I need unless I'm under a medication.
But where did yours come from?
Genetics.
So you just always so I feel
Yeah.
so you went right to kids and school, but that happened with adults and remote work, right?
Yeah, I
So
mean it
watch
could be
have the
the
TV on the back room, in the background, food on the stove, kids in the background, there's all these things going on. And so there the article was focused on adults, on
okay.
the explosion of adults now having ADHD because of the hyperactivity on your timeline, on your computer. You're looking at a screen all day long. Traffic is a mess. The news is a mess. The world is a mess. So like all these things, all these triggers, all of these stimulants are overwhelming, and so it makes it difficult for people to be able to concentrate. So
That makes sense too.
yeah, so whether that's learned or not, that's influenced. That's out of our control because it's become a fabric of our everyday norm. So what they're talking about is how it's creating a new normal, a new standard of how ADHD comes to be outside of genetics, outside of predisposed.
Hmm.
Because like I said last time, we don't have a natural predator, so we've got to figure out ways to fuck ourselves up. And we do a
Well,
great job at it.
I'll have to find the article because I read it years ago, but it's stuck with me. But like ADHD, they think is a throwback to hunter gatherer days, because you have to be focused on so many things to be able to move quick in your mind, because so much stuff's trying to kill you, and if you don't find food,
Yeah,
if you don't find food that day, your kid's gonna die, kind of shit. Like,
I don't know, but how do we do that with our world buried in convenience. Like life is not hard
Well, no,
for
that's what I'm
many
saying.
people.
That's why I was saying it's a throwback, like it's like a throwback instinct. That's why
But no, but
you know as
nobody's. But the instinct isn't for survival; it's convenience. That's what I'm
well,
talking about.
now for sure.
Right. So it may not. It may not feel. I don't know, genuine or however that comes across, but like it's. I don't think that invalidates it at all. And it's funny. Well, first of all, it's dangerous to say an article from years ago because mental health has come a long way in the last few years. So
What I'm trying to say is, damn it, I've had this for 35 years.
don't be that guy. Don't be that old guy. Don't be that guy who isn't who can't learn new information. Don't be that guy.
I take my meth like I'm supposed to, and I
No,
go to
no.
work.
Because I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I got diagnosed with it, and whether that's acute, whatever that means, high functioning, whatever it is, I know based off of everything that I've read, based off of everything that's going on, that I'm definitely I would if I went in, I would have whatever that is, a diagnosis, and so I'm
Mhm.
just undiagnosed at this point. I I deal with it as I do. Um, I haven't ever taken any medication, so I don't know what that would mean. I haven't ever tried to see anybody because I, again, high functioning. So, um,
You
and
want some hypothetically?
hypothetically, and but yeah, the pandemic, man, coming on the backside of this, I just sold my house after 2 years of trying to, and the interest rates just went up again today. So, and now they're saying, "Oh, we're gonna cap it now." You mean you're gonna cap it, bro? You just keep going up. Like, it's it's at this point, inflation is a threshold for poverty. It's like if you want to be part of this culture, you've got to make this much money, straight up.
Hmm.
It's just it's not even a right to live anymore. It's ridiculous. So, but yeah, man, everything keeps going up. I bought pool cleaner today, and the guy even told me, he said, if I sold this to you the same time last year, it would have cost you $34 less for two for 8 gallons of chlorine and a 32-ounce bottle of algicide. $100 and some motherfucking change. Yeah, dog. Oof. So nuts though.
But you didn't get pool cleaning in your
Oh
agreement.
no, I said I'd take care of it. I said I'd take care of it last year, last summer, a few months. Not worried about it. Not worried about it. Especially if I can get these networking chapters up and running.
Yes, dude, touch on that because that's a big deal. That gets going. That's
Uh,
huge.
so I got invited to a local Arizona networking group um, through a gentleman who has a flooring business. And shout out to Matt Gilstrap and Footprints Flooring in Chandler. Um, he's had me on to do several jobs with his flooring company, and so I have an opportunity to do that with the other members of different chapters around the valley. And so he brought me into their chapter, and you have to be invited in order to become part of it all. And then once you're part of it, you can spread your wings. And so my goal is to just be to make myself available to everyone in this chapter because there is not currently a moving option. And in these groups, you can only have one specialty per uh, one trade, one specialty per chapter group. So, um, what that also allows me to do is have a network of business professionals who are all working together to give each other business that I can refer my friends and other people while I'm at their house. Because so many times I'm at a job on my hands and knees putting together somebody's bed, and they say, and I hear them in the background talking about complaining about something going wrong, or this person not showing up, or da 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 da. Now I'll have the opportunity to say, while I'm in someone's house, to be like, oh, you need this done? Boom. Here's this person's number. And then they can get business and those people get taken care of on top of me doing the same thing for them. So it's exactly what I want to do with other small business owners, with other just people who understand the power of word of mouth and networking. And especially post pandemic, quote unquote, it's like it's time for us to get back into a sense of normalcy. And that normalcy in terms of business needs to be us working together instead of trying to survive. So I'm looking forward to sitting down with another chapter tomorrow morning and sitting in on their meeting and see how things are at their group. And again, spreading my wings, putting my business out there and seeing where I can add value. So 2023, baby, let's go.
Let's fucking go.
Let's
We're gonna
go.
be gajillionaires by the end of this year.
I don't know about all that, man, but I think that with the momentum that we've had in several different areas, all around the same reasoning because of how we're operating, the opportunities are there, the momentum's there. So keep leading into it. That's all I know.
Yep.
All I know. And don't be surprised at the success because it should be expected. What success is to us doesn't have to be much. So don't really set the bar very high.
My goal my goal is to finally get YouTube monetized so I can make good on my agreement that we had at the beginning.
No. All I'm looking for is sustainability. I'm not even
Yeah.
looking to see a profit out of any of this right here. All I'm trying to see is that it takes care of itself and it allows us to keep wanting to put effort, and attention into it because it generates enough money for us to just do it. That's where I want to get. If I get there, I know we can get profitable. So, yeah, first baby steps, one step at a time, because everything shifts so fast nowadays that one slip up could be a game changer, or one timing something just right to where we pop for no reason. To where we get Natasha Nice numbers without trying. Without keywords and titling.
Man, that's still one of our
Still going, bro. Yo, so the LeBron Jordan, the laughing Jordan thing that I did, I have to mute my notifications on my phone still, dude. I'm still getting like 40, 50 likes a day. I don't know. It's just gonna, and the more that he loses in the playoffs, it's just gonna keep flying. It's gonna keep reverberating. It's hilarious. So, yeah, 2023, baby. Oh boy, what else you got tonight? We're even after our conversation pre Karina with Karina, and now we're sitting at an hour and 15 minutes. God bless it.
Well, would you like a quick neighbor update before we say
Yes,
goodnight?
absolutely.
So, our dogs have been good. Their sole purpose in life is to bark if someone comes near the house.
Sure.
They've been super quiet lately, other than a bark and then it's over. A warning, stay away from this house, and then it's peaceful. My neighbor, whose name is Paul, has now twice come to my home after 9 p.m. to ring my doorbell and knock on my door. And I have chosen pacifism. AKA, I ignore that motherfucker till it goes away.
You let him ring your doorbell and then he just wanders off?
Yeah.
And so is he coming to talk to you about the dogs?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, god damn. And you know that, so that's why you're not. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, so, and the thing is, and it's not even our dogs most of the time. Down 2 houses down, they have a huge dog who's not quiet. And usually we hear him and we go, and then like our dogs who are just like sleeping peacefully. Mm-hmm. The only time I've heard my dogs, the only times my dogs have woke me up, because I'm a pretty light sleeper, because I'm worried about the freaking Al Qaeda kicking down my front door.
Oh man.
And you know what I mean? Like I'm usually like, what's that?
Yeah.
But no, the only time my dogs have lost their minds and woken me up is when a crusty old fuck from next door comes over to, and he's on my property, which proceeds to make all three of the dogs lose their collective minds.
So the dogs aren't barking, so he purposely comes over to make them bark so he can bark so he can complain about it.
That's the only thing I can think of.
That's like they had like Oreos and they had like double stuffed Oreos. This is like double
Mhm.
petty for no reason.
Yeah. Well,
Dang, bro.
he tried waving at me this morning. I just glared at him. No.
Oh,
You don't get to play nicey nice, you crusty bastard.
I love being in the car with my daughter, my older daughter, and we'll pass somebody who's walking their dog who clearly lives in the neighborhood, and she'll wave to them, and then or we'll both wave to them, and then he won't wave back, and then I won't look, but she looks every time, and so I asked her today when I did it, we passed by somebody, and I said, "Did they wave back?" And she goes, "No." I said, "How'd that make you feel?" She's like, "Makes me feel like I shouldn't have done it." I go, I said, "That doesn't feel good, does it?" She said, "No." I was like, "So you need someone to wave back for you to wave?" She said, "No." I was like, "But you're doing it because you want to wave back or because you want to be nice?" And she goes, "I guess if I want to be nice, it doesn't matter if they wave back, does it?" And I was just like, "Oh my God. Stuff is getting through, man."
Ruth broke my heart
Oh no.
a couple days ago, and not even on purpose. So, like, I'm out in the garage and I'm lifting, and usually she'll come out and piddle around and stuff and blah 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 blah. But I'll tell her, I'm doing stuff that's really heavy, so it's either you need to go inside or stay out of my way because I don't want you to get hurt. So I'm getting warmed up and I'm sitting on the bench and she comes out and she goes, "I know you don't want me, but and she gave me a big hug and kissed me on the cheek, and I was like, oh,
Oh man. Crushing
oh,
you.
oh. No,
Crushing.
kid, I love you."
Yep.
Ah. And she's developing a sense of humor too, to where she knows she's saying something to be funny. I can't even remember what it was, but she mocked Marley, like did her voice and everything.
Mm.
Well, you know what Marley's gonna say? No, 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 never again. And like, so she's kind of learned the word vagina. She had to have been at school from somebody, but we've always called it a hoo-ha here at the house. Hoo-has and wieners. And so today she was arguing with Scarlett. And Scarlett, you have a china. And I said, well, so do you. She goes, no, I have a hoo-ha. And I said, it's the same thing. She goes, no, I don't have a china, I have a hoo-ha. Scarlett has a china. Scarlett goes, it's the same thing. No, it's not. And then we're going back and forth like, no, baby, that's the same thing. No, it's not. It's not. And then she looks at Scarlett and she goes, do you know what color your china is? And Scarlett goes, what? She goes, it's gray.
Oh man. How old?
She's 3. She'll be 4 in July.
And she's young.
Yeah.
So they can't do anything about it.
No, but you just gotta be like, but like it was one of those things like she knew she was being funny.
Yeah.
Because the moment she got a laugh, she was like, yes.
It has
So these Howard kids, they're dangerous. You got to watch out for them. Anyway, we've been doing this for 8 years.
Yes, we have. Absolutely.
It's time to go to bed because.
Plus 20. Solid. Shout out to
Well,
Flex
ladies
Chef.
and gentlemen.
Thank
Huh?
you, sir. Shout out
Yes.
to Flex Chef again. He's still with us. He just messaged again.
Just out. Just did it.
Down for the ride.
Appreciate you, man. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to the Sober Swirl podcast. Once again, my name is Jake Howard.
And I'll go by DJ Swirl.
Chocolate and vanilla swirl. Swirl.
Hit the long version.
Oh, I just didn't stop it. I usually cut it off. Gave you the whole thing that time, yeah. Warhorse. Bye. Oh, no. Oh, I gotta hit the button. I'm a jackass.
Hey, it's Warhorse. Do you want your workouts to look like this? Or do you want your workouts to slay? When Warhorse picks his pre-workout, he wants it to slay. If you want second place, go with somebody else. If you want to be a champion, go with Royalty Nutrition.